please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
PS Jayakumar, Managing Director and CEO of Bank of Baroda, joins us now. Good morning, Mr. Jayakumar. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, first I'll begin with the trouble. With the new circular coming in, will all SDA, S4A cases be recognized this quarter or next? In your case, what is that amount?
Okay, Lata, if you wouldn't mind, can I just make a few opening comments
Sure.
and then go ahead and respond to your question? You know, for the last probably a month, we've been seeing a lot of grabbing media headlines and a lot of day-to-day subject matter discussion around public sector bank in particular. And obviously, it's driven by the high level of NPA and a localized fraud that has happened in one of India's premier bank. And this has created both negativity and a fair amount of anxiety among number of stakeholders. My response to that primarily is this: public sector banks still continue to have very significant market share in the banking industry, 65% plus. Most of the public sector banks, including Bank of Baroda, have over 100 years of history and continue to command customer loyalty. And we have also contributed significantly or disproportionately to the financial development and the social sector development in this country. Just about any project of any significance in the infrastructure has all been funded by the public sector banking, or have a very significant share of the financing. Now, due to a variety of factors, we have this NPA problem, but there are also a number of good structural changes happening. The government process itself has improved or reduced substantially the risk in the infrastructure projects. Board governance has substantially increased. There is a build-up in the capital, both on account of infusion and QIP. The reform processes that have been said would significantly improve the quality of services of the bank. We're also moving to high economic growth. We're getting into GST and large amount of data that would enable us to underwrite better. So given all of these things, I don't see the need for, the significant amount of the pessimism. I just think we have to be clinical about the issues we have, address the structural issues, and then move forward with the continued focus on growth. That's really where at least I'm from Bank of Baroda on that side. So I would say let's reduce this negativity and pessimism. Problems are there. They will get addressed. And we are in an economy that is on a significant rebound. And there are a lot of positive factors that should enable us to continue to focus on growth.
Okay.
That broadly is the opening.
Sir, that's good to hear.
And now I'm ready to answer your question.
No, I completely take your point. And yesterday we had yet another market veteran saying much the same thing, that, this is a localized fraud in one branch, and, LOUs and LCs are given all over the place for, 75, 100 years, and it's just one localized branch. I take your point entirely on that. But, the other structural thing which the Reserve Bank has done is what perhaps looks like an AQR2, which is good. I mean, it's probably the last bit of poison. But I just want to put some numbers to it. I have a Credit Suisse report which says that your specific NPA could go up from 11.3 to probably 16% because they're taking the entire SDR, S4A cases. What is your own assessment?
I think we have about, as disclosed, about 9,000 crores of SDR in S4A.
Okay.
I don't think all of them will flow in. We can assume a majority will flow. That doesn't matter. See, the changes in the accounting circulars, accounting policies does not affect finally the net NPA are going to suffer. All it does is to change either bring forward or postpone the recognition norm. So if in this quarter we do have a very high level of provision, the next year is going to be very, very solid.
Absolutely.
So in some, at the end of the day, it's the same thing. So we're not unduly concerned about it. These are the policies, we plan for it, prepare for it, and move on. But I think that the next year we should expect a 12 to 15% return on equity on the enhanced capital, at least from Bank of Baroda's side is concerned.
Okay, that's good to hear. Mr. Jayakumar, good morning. We were just speaking with Bank of India a while back. He was telling us about how they've made 7,000 crores of recoveries already, and they plan to see about 2,000 to 3,000 crores more of recoveries over the next couple of months. I wanted to know on Bank of Baroda's end, what would the recoveries look like currently, and how much more can we expect?
I don't want to get into a specific number because the results are
Sure.
due at the end of this month. But broadly, I would say to you this way, that if the NPA numbers, if the provision numbers are higher because of the revised accounting policy, we would still remain comfortable with respect to our capital adequacy and our net NPA number. and our coverage ratio. And we would see a much better result next year.
Okay.
So I think I just want to look at it as some kind of a front ending which has happened to us twice before in terms of bringing the losses forward.
You know, I just want to also come back to that point that Lata was making about the NPAs. For the industry as a whole, you spoke about Bank of Baroda in particular, but for the industry as a whole, because of the new norms, on an average, how much do you think the NPAs could go up by? Currently, I think as of December, we're sitting at 8.5 to 9 lakh crores of NPAs for the system as a whole. How much do you think it could rise to?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to comment on it. I've not really looked at all of the banks that are there. I would only think about Bank of Baroda and say to you that there would be some pickup in the net NPA number and the gross NPA number. Okay. Some of which will be offset because of the growth, but we'll still be within the zone of comfort.
Okay. Is there any renewed zest for recovery?
Well, I think I would say the risk to the recovery is in two parts. Part one is some of the NCLT issues don't get settled in the time frame we expect them to, which is the first quarter of next year and the second quarter of next year, and maybe something towards the end of this month. So that could get potentially delayed, but again, I don't see that extending for too long.
No, no,
so
sir, I said positively. Okay. I meant, Mr. Jayakumar, positively. What was the zeal? Are you all going after recovery with greater zeal? I
think so. I think the positivity is first and foremost that the steel and the cement sector recoveries seems to suggest that we will have a reversal of provision. That's a positive thing. And then it obviously provides us the headroom to provide for any additional slippage that is concerned. Second, I see there is a greater degree of focus and energy around collection, both with respect to small and big tickets. And as this intense pressure keeps on, collection will happen. And finally, the attitude is somewhat changing, because when people realize that eventually collections would happen and their assets would be repossessed, then there is a tendency to come forward and come to a resolution table. Okay. So all in all, I think these are positive steps. But on the other hand, we have to be execution focused and get the benefit out of it.
Just one small niggling issue. PNB is paying. How much does PNB owe you on the Nirav Modi issue? And have they agreed to pay with riders? I
have zero exposure.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not in conversation with them on recovery or collection. We don't have any exposure.
Okay. And finally, Mr. Jayakumar, growth. Would you have capital left for growth? What would approximately your target be for loan growth this year and next?
We're staying with the guidance, Lata. 12 to 15% is what we indicate, what we have been talking about quarter after quarter. And that's a number that we are seeing on a quarter-to-quarter basis. As you know, even last quarter, we are at some 14.44 or thereabouts. So I would expect that we would, unless there are some unforeseen circumstances in the next 20 days, I would expect us to continue with the growth momentum. The next year, I would think we can expect a little bit higher number, because our distribution with respect to retail would further pick up the volume. And I would think there is an opportunity for corporate growth coming from the rebound of growth. So overall, I think we are pretty sanguine about next year.
All right. Okay. Mr. Jayakumar, thanks a lot for joining us today. You joined us on a good day today. Actually, it's been a day of PSU banks.